Good evening and welcome back to Looking Forward. Hope you had a great Sunday and now it's time to gear up for the week ahead. This show is all about the stories that are shaping up and will impact our lives, choices and the world around us. Tonight we are tracking 4 big news developments that are set to unfold over the coming week and beyond, influencing India's and world's politics and economics. So let's dive right in. Our first story is Bihar, which is heading to the polls on 6th of November, marking the beginning of a fiercely contested 2-phase election. The first phase will cover 121 assembly constituencies, with the second phase scheduled for 11th of November. The counting of votes will take place on 14th of November. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and other top leaders are actively campaigning with promises of development, employment and welfare schemes. The Election Commission, in fact, has assured a transparent and a peaceful voting process with over 90,000 polling stations and strict measures, security measures that have been put in place. With controversies and political violence ruling the headlines in Bihar, we will tell you on who really has the edge in the Bihar elections. Our second story is about how India's skies are buzzing with activity as the country gears up for a massive military showdown. Major notice to airmen have been issued, covering a vast area from the Western Theatre to central India, the Bay of Bengal and the northeast India. This isn't just a routine alert, it's a clear message to the neighbouring countries, air forces, that India means business. The Indian Air Force, the tip of India's spear, it's flexing its muscle across multiple theatres, showcasing its readiness to take on any challenge. And not just that, the big focus would certainly be on the Tri-Services exercise, which has a focus on the western border. In fact, this happens to be the biggest exercise that is being carried out 6 months after Operation Sindoor. And not to forget how the Pakistanis are essentially copying this entire exercise. Our third story this week, where India is coming together to commemorate a remarkable milestone, the 150th anniversary of the iconic song Vande Mataram, composed by Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay in 1876. This powerful poem ignited the flames of India's freedom struggle and continues to evoke strong emotions. From its humble beginnings as a literary piece to its adaptation as India's national song in 1950, Vande Mataram has navigated a complex journey. And finally, New Yorkers are gearing up to elect their next mayor on 4th of November, with Democrat Zohran Mamdani leading the pack, followed by independent candidate Andrew and Republicans Curtis Sliver. Mamdani, a socialist, has gained significant traction, winning the Democratic primary and receiving support from former US President Barack Obama. The election is seen as a clash between progressivism and populism, with Mamdani's campaign focusing on affordability and social justice. We will be looking forward to that. Let's now take a look at the headlines we're tracking at this hour.
S200 motors ignited, plus 5 seconds.
S200 बूस्टर्स का सफलतापूर्ण प्रज्वलन और LVM-3M5 का उत्थापन द्वितीय प्रमोचन मंच से.
We have a magnificent lift-off, the LVM-3M5 CMS-03 mission in the air. This time,
ISRO launches India's heaviest communication satellite, GSAT-7R, for Indian Navy. This mission, marking the 5th operational flight of the launch vehicle Mark III, carried India's heaviest communication satellite to date, weighing over 4,400 kilograms. India begins major tri-service military drill exercise Trishul along the western border with Pakistan. Pakistan issues naval warning as India begins tri-services exercise near Sar Creek. Tamil Nadu all-party meeting opposes SIR, decides to approach Supreme Court.
के नामदार ने हमारे छठ महापर्व को नौटंकी ड्रामा बताया, ड्रामा। ऐसी सजा दीजिए कि हिंदुस्तान में फिर कभी कोई छठ महापर्व का अपमान न कर पाए भाइयों।
Prime Minister Modi slams Congress RJD, invokes all promises from his quiver for development. Bihar's battleground ignites tomorrow with phase 1 of the assembly elections. You're looking at over 121 seats across 20 districts where 1,314 candidates, including heavyweights like Tejashwi Yadav and Deputy Chief Minister Suraaj Chaudhary, will be clashing amid promises, scandals and family feuds. As the NDA defends its decade-long grip and Mahagathbandhan eyes a comeback with jobs and freebies, here is what to expect amidst this week on 6th of November for phase 1.
Four days to phase 1 of polling to commence in Bihar.
सरकार बनते ही जिस परिवार के पास सरकारी नौकरी नहीं है, उस परिवार में एक सरकारी नौकरी तेजस्वी देने का काम करेगा।
साथियों, आरजेडी हो या कांग्रेस, ये सिर्फ दो परिवारों के ही इर्द गिर्द सिमटी हुई पार्टियां हैं। एक बिहार का सबसे भ्रष्ट परिवार, दूसरा देश का सबसे भ्रष्ट परिवार। और इनके दो परिवारों में ही बड़ा घमासान छिड़ गया है। यहां एक जंगल राज के युवराज है, उन्हें लगता है कि कांग्रेस के युवराज की पदयात्रा ने उन्हें ही पैदल कर दिया।
121 constituencies, 20 districts and 1,314 candidates in the fray. This is the battleground for phase 1 in Bihar. RJD has the most skin in the game with 71 candidates facing the EVMs in phase 1, followed closely by the BJP with 58 candidates, JDU right behind with 57 and Congress with just 24, of which 6 incidentally are just friendly fights with the RJD. Heavyweights dominate. In Raghopur, Mahagathbandhan's CM face Tejashwi Yadav defends his turf against BJP's Satish Kumar Yadav, a sight of Lalu and Rabri's past wins.
पहले भी जो कहा वो हमने किया, जो कह रहे हैं वो करेंगे। 5 लाख सरकारी नौकरी हम लोगों ने दिया, 3.5 लाख नौकरी तक की अधीन करे, 4.5 लाख निजी शिक्षकों को राज के करने का हम लोगों ने दर्जा दिया। जो कहा वो किया।
Question is, can he walk the talk on his fiscally burdensome promises?
देखिए, श्री तेजस्वी यादव जी ने महागठबंधन का जो संकल्प पत्र है, तेजस्वी जी का प्रतिज्ञा और प्रण है कि जिस घर में सरकारी नौकरी नहीं है, हर उस घर को सरकारी नौकरी एक आदमी को दी जाएगी, 200 यूनिट बिजली फ्री किए जाएंगे, 1500 रुपया सामाजिक सुरक्षा पेंशन दिया जाएगा, युवा आयोग बनाया जाएगा, डोमिसाइल नीति लागू की जाएगी और माताओं बहनों को 30,000 रुपये सालाना दिए जाएंगे। ये सारे जो दावे तेजस्वी जी ने किए हैं, इस पर जनता को भरोसा है।
Then there is Tarapur, where BJP's Deputy Chief Minister Suraaj Chaudhary will challenge RJD's Arun Kumar. While Suraaj seeks a re-election, the larger question for the NDA is, can it defeat the anti-incumbency sentiment?
NDA, according to me, must not get anything less than 100. Must not get anything less than 100. And things goes well, it can go up also. And well, there's a difference between Jungle Raj and the normal Raj. Murder can happen anywhere, but to protect a murder, but to cover up a murder, that's what is Jungle Raj is.
Another high-profile fight is in Mahua, where Lalu's estranged son Tej Pratap Yadav is fighting his family feud against RJD's candidate Mukesh Kumar Roshan and BJP's Sanjay Singh. However, it is not just the Lalu family, but the Mahagathbandhan family too that is seeing internal fights, with 6 friendly fights between the RJD and the Congress in just phase 1. With Rahul's late parachuting into the campaign, has Indy lost the ground?
RJD ने भी कांग्रेस को सबक सिखाने की ठान ली। फिर पूरे देश ने देखा है कि कैसे आरजेडी ने बिहार कांग्रेस के अध्यक्ष के खिलाफ भी अपना उम्मीदवार उतार दिया। साथियों, आजकल ये दोनों दल एक दूसरे के बाल नोचने में लगे हैं। और तो खबर ये है कि हर बूथ पर कांग्रेस के लोगों ने आरजेडी को हराने की ठान ली है।
पूरा विश्वास है इस बार जनता बदलाव चाह रही है, तेजस्वी सरकार बनाना चाह रही है। अब बिहार की जनता को जुमलेबाजी की बौछार वाली ये डबल इंजन की निकम्मी नकारा खटारा नीति से सरकार नहीं चाहिए। अब रोजगार की भरमार वाली तेजस्वी सरकार चाहिए।
Then comes the variable, Suraaj, fighting 240 seats by itself with slender margins of vote share. Prashant Kishor and team hope to emerge as kingmakers, but can they make the cut?
People of Bihar are now desperate for change. They have been victim of so-called political duopoly of both these Gathbandhans. That in absence of a credible political alternative, people of Bihar had to choose between lesser evils. For the first time, they have a credible political alternative on all 243 seats. And people of Bihar are going to choose for change. In the first phase, you will see a triangular fight on almost 90 to 100.
Amidst all this, the NDA has remained defiant, standing by Nitish Kumar as a face going into the elections. But is he fit to fight?
इतना दावा के साथ कह सकते हैं कि तेजस्वी यादव को राजनैतिक विराम करने की जनता ने सलाह दे दी है, इसलिए कि घर घर की महिलाएं जो महिला रोजगार योजना का लाभ मिल रहा है, नीतीश कुमार जी का जयकारा कर रही हैं और ये लोग कह रहे हैं कि इसको घूस दिया जा रहा है।
Then remains the left, adding weight to Mahagathbandhan but shrinking. Can it help the Mahagathbandhan cross the line? That's the question.
You see, left has a history in Bihar. It has been hotbed of left movement, if you go down in the history. And despite their decay, their presence is constant in the arena of Bihar society and Bihar politics. Certainly, it adds weight to the Mahagathbandhan, and with a very permanent cadre which hardly breaks. You know, it's unlike the other parties which keeps on changing their colors and their alliance. The left cadre is very much constant, and it is a very hardcore cadre, and it lends weight to the whichever formation they are in.
While Indy seeks cohesion, NDA has achieved it. Yet, can double engine promise and Sushashan record beat 20 years of anti-incumbency?
Our election is going to end the Congress rule. That's what I would like to say. Congress party is going to be decimated after Bihar election, and the way in which Mr. Rahul Gandhi has been going around the country and also the world. Can you expect a leader of opposition who is to be busy with the election manifesto, election campaign, electioneering strategies, etc., is spending time in Vietnam and Turkey? Is he a sincere politician? I have reported Congress for more than 40 years. from the days of Mr. P.V. Narasimha Rao as spokesperson of the Congress, CWC. Now see the condition of Congress. Very, very precarious. Congress is in an existential crisis. As Jairam Ramesh has put it, Congress is almost dead in Bihar.
If NDA holds 80 plus seats in phase 1, then it could build strong momentum for phase 2. It's challenged Mahagathbandhan to flip the script in Bihar. For now, the People's Festival is all set to begin. All eyes are on the Bihar verdict.
India's skies are on high alert. Major NOTAMs, notice to airmen, have been issued from the Western Theatre all the way through central India and now the Bay of Bengal and the northeast. This isn't just a notice to airmen, but a notice to all neighbouring air forces. This is the largest organized tri-services drill since Operation Sindoor, and the Indian Air Force, which is the tip of India's spear, is making its presence felt across multiple theatres. That it stands ready, more than ready than ever before. In fact, as far as this military exercise is concerned, one big focus would certainly be on exercise Trishul, where you have the jointness of Indian Army, Indian Air Force and Indian Navy. Not just that, you also have the other agencies coming together and institutions like the Coast Guard and Border Security Force also participating in one of the biggest military drill of India since Operation Sindoor.
Indian Armed Forces aren't just training anymore. From November 3rd, entire air corridors are sealed in the eastern, the central and the western sectors. The Indian Air Force is moving in with unprecedented levels of deployment. The Navy and the Army are plugging the gaps on land and in the sea. From November 3rd, NOTAMs will seal vast swathes of airspace from central India's Romeo Urban exercise between November 3rd and 28th to IAF's exercise in the Bay of Bengal from November 3rd to 14th. And almost entirety of northeast India from November 6th to January 15th. Most of these NOTAMs go into force while the Tri-Forces wargaming exercise continues in the Western Theatre, known as Exercise Trishul. These NOTAMs have put not just Pakistan, but Bangladesh, China, Bhutan, Myanmar and Nepal's borders on high alert.
The exercise of the Air Force is being carried out in a strategically sensitive northeastern region which borders 4 countries, that is China, Bangladesh, Bhutan and Myanmar. It is sending a clear message to both to Pakistan as well as to these 4 countries that India will go to any lengths to protect its territorial integrity and sovereignty even in remote areas and high altitude terrain as well as in the rest parts of the northeastern region. Hundreds of fighter aircraft transporters as well as attack helicopters such as LCH Prashant will take part in this exercise. The main objective of the exercise, besides sending a strategic message, is to undertake air dominance missions as well as combat support operations at some of the most highest peaks of the world, which are here in the Himalayas in the northeastern region, ranging from 17,000 feet to 22 to 23,000 feet.
On the Western Front, Trishul's Joint Tri-Services Ops test rapid deployment along the line of control and the India and Pakistan international border. Artillery barrages, airstrikes and even naval blockades. And in the east, the NOTAMs serve as a reminder to our neighbors that no front is overlooked.
The NOTAMs have been issued in the east also, which means there is some coordination going on between this exercise and the NOTAMs which have been issued, or probably some air exercises in the east also. It gives a message to China that we will be able to take care of both. And it gives us also an idea of the strength we have to handle a situation on either ends of our nation. That's one major thing. But more importantly, it it puts Pakistan on the back foot. They're already in a tizzy. They must be flying all their aircraft up and down, and they must be putting all their intelligence sensors up and surveillance sensors. So they would be up and about. And more importantly, you have to see it in the perspective that they're having a problem on the western border with Afghanistan. And this is the time when we are doing this exercise from this side. So, they are caught between the two. One doesn't know where they probably would be thinking, where do we go from here?
It's not just the Northeast. The Bay of Bengal NOTAMs have even raised eyebrows. This is the second NOTAM within a span of a month. This one for COPE India. Indian Air Force's joint air drills with United States and Australia. The first NOTAM masked an Agni missile test from Abdul Kalam Island, India's crown jewel for strategic launches. Speculations now swirl, will this round include BrahMos or Nirbhaya overflights? With Abdul Kalam Island included in the NOTAM area, all options are open. The exercises also serve as a timely reminder to Bangladesh of India's strategic posture amidst its dramatic pivot towards China and Pakistan.
Eastern part of India, called Seven Sisters, they are landlocked country, landlocked region of India. They have no way to reach out to the ocean. We are the only guardian of the ocean.
Unfortunately, Dhaka has gone back to the pre-1971 days in which, frankly, Islamists are in control and the secular forces have lost control. There's no question that Sheikh Hasina was a very corrupt leader, but the Awami League minus Sheikh Hasina would be far and away, if I may say so, far and away the winner in any fair election in Bangladesh. So the reality is when Muhammad Yunus said, we are worried about a fair election, what he means is he is worried about the ability of the government presumably led by him. I say presumably because not really. These Wahhabi forces are really in control. Being able to ensure a rigged poll, a poll in which their candidates sweep the board. So there again, I think India has got to be very watchful. We have got to be very, very cautious about it.
The timing is not lost on anyone. Recent Pakistan-Bangladesh military hurdles, troop exchanges and joint maneuvers have had New Delhi's radars pinging.
हम सिंदूर की तैयारी में हैं, हम सिंदूर जो चल रहा है उसके लिए हम रेडी हैं, डिप्लॉयड हैं और जहां तक कि बाकी जो हमने अपने प्लान्स किए हैं हम उनके साथ भी चलते रहेंगे. So that is a very simple message that we are looking.
Pakistan has been over clever and overactive in trying to destabilize India. It joined hands with the CIA, its ISI, to create a colored revolution in Bangladesh, as a result of which the Jamaat-e-Islami and the Razakars, who supplied women to the Pakistan army during the 71 war, have been brought in center stage. General Mirza, very grandiosely, the chief of the general staff of the Pakistan army, very grandiosely visited the border provinces of Bangladesh and with binoculars scanned the Siliguri corridor in some kind of a message to India. This message has backfired badly. India believes in mirror imaging. India believes in a tit-for-tat approach. India has paid back the compliment in Afghanistan. And Pakistan now has a raging war going on with Afghanistan on its border.
This mobilization isn't coincidence. It's calculated. As China eyes Myanmar and Bangladesh flirts with old foes, India's NOTAMs weave deterrence with diplomacy. The tri-services aren't just training, they're forging an unbreakable shield for Bharat's rise.
You see, this is a multi-domain exercise. Not only is it a tri-service exercise to combine the land, sea and air forces, it also is catering to the cyber domain. It is catering to outer space assets. and our intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance systems out in space. It is also, catering to the electronic spectrum. So it is an exercise designed to test out our theaterization concepts. Lessons learned from Op Sindoor and some new concepts are being tried out.
It is also being carried out in December and January when actually the snow falls and the entire area gets covered with snow tops. At this time, now when we carry out our logistic supplies as well as we carry out our air dominance missions, it is going to ensure that we test our entirety all the types of operations that can be carried out, all the situations that we can encounter in the pre-winter and winter period, as well as we can see how do we deploy and redeploy our forces and counter to those situations as the situation changes in 2 and 2.5 front war in case it ever take place. That means both Pakistan on one side and China on the other side, even with Bangladesh providing them some limited support. So this exercise is going to be crucial, and the time periods, elongated time periods, ensure that we test out all the situations in a 2.5 front war, and we also are able to air supply thousands of tons of logistic supply to the troops which are operating from some of the most inhospitable terrains in the world.
In a neighborhood of shifting sands, India stands firm. These NOTAMs, these drills, they are more than maneuvers. They are the pulse of a vigilant nation, turning vigilance into victory. From the lessons of Operation Sindoor to the triumphs of tomorrow, Bharat's forces are reminding the world. Our skies, our seas, our borders are untouchable and unbreakable.
Ladies and gentlemen, this week India rises as one to celebrate a milestone that pulses through centuries. 150-year-old song that inspired the freedom struggle and still moves hearts. The year was 1876. In a British-ruled India, Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, a civil servant and novelist, put his pen to paper to compose what became not just a poem, but a revolution. Vande Mataram. 150 years later, the national song of India is sung by 1 billion voices across. And yet, the journey of the national song hasn't been without its twists and turns, battling history, politics, power struggles, and even controversy. Today, we look forward to more inspiration from this timeless ode to our nation and motherland.
कुछ ही दिनों बाद 7 नवंबर को हम वंदे मातरम के 150वें वर्ष के उत्सव में प्रवेश करने वाले हैं। 150 वर्ष पूर्व वंदे मातरम की रचना हुई थी और 1896 में गुरुदेव रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर ने पहली बार इसे गाया था। साथियों, वंदे मातरम के गान में करोड़ों देशवासियों ने हमेशा राष्ट्र प्रेम के अपार उफान को महसूस किया। हमारी पीढ़ियों ने वंदे मातरम के शब्दों में भारत के एक जीवंत और भव्य स्वरूप के दर्शन किए। इसकी रचना बंकिम चंद्र चट्टोपाध्याय जी ने सदियों की गुलामी से शिथिल हो चुके भारत में नए प्राण फूंकने के लिए की थी। वंदे मातरम का उद्घोष 140 करोड़ भारतीयों को एकता की ऊर्जा से भर देता है।
Born in the pen of Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, a deputy collector in British India, Vande Mataram is more than just a hymn. It became the voice of the soil of the Indian nation. It was India's answer to God Save the Queen. Bankim described the nation as a mother and imagined all of us Indians as her children. He first published it in 1882 in his novel Anandamath. However, the song plunged into the heart of every freedom fighter when Guru Rabindranath Tagore recited the poem at the 12th Annual Congress session in 1896. In 1905, when the British sowed the seeds of divide and rule with the partition of Bengal, Vande Mataram became the voice of resistance, the words of unity, and the chant of freedom.
And there are various ways to celebrate this momentous occasion, this momentous song. One, in all schools, on a chosen day, the schools can choose, maybe a Friday, a Monday. Students from all classes can sing this beautiful composition together. Organizations, whether they come under the government, central, state, or private firms, they can choose one day of their choice. On a momentous occasion, they can sing, all of them can sing this song together. So students and professionals are covered. For example, artists like me, we can ensure that in one of our events, our lectures, we let the audience sing this together. So these are some of the ways which I think is very simple, which can reach out to the spectrum of our society.
But our national song's journey was marked by battles, not all physical, woven with the nationalist tapestry, but still a few threads of discord emerged. In 1937, some members of the Muslim League and Congress objected to later stanzas of Vande Mataram. The original stanzas drew inspiration from Vedic imagery of Ma Durga. Subsequently, amid pressure, the Congress passed a resolution in 1937 to only sing the first two stanzas of Vande Mataram, which referred to the nation only as a mother, but not as a goddess.
जो काम अंग्रेज नहीं कर पाए, वो काम कांग्रेस ने कर दिया। कांग्रेस ने मजहबी आधार पर वंदे मातरम के एक हिस्से को ही हटा दिया। यानी कांग्रेस ने समाज को भी बांटा और अंग्रेजों के एजेंडे को भी आगे बढ़ाया। और मैं आज एक बात बहुत जिम्मेदारी से कह रहा हूं, जिस दिन कांग्रेस ने वंदे मातरम को तोड़ने का, काटने का, विभाजित करने का फैसला लिया था, उसी दिन कांग्रेस ने भारत के विभाजन की नींव डाल दी थी। कांग्रेस ने वो पाप नहीं किया होता तो आज भारत की तस्वीर कुछ और होती।
The friction that began before independence continues today. The legacy of Congress's resolution that diluted but did not erase the question still shapes the debate.
I do not know if it is the right time for us to, fight back stating that this should be reinstated, the next paragraph should be sung, because nothing can come through forcing. And I just feel that politicians rise above all these differences, just see the meaning, the quintessence of the song, and we adopt the entire song. So it's high time that people rise above all these political differences.
And yet, demand for the full Vande Mataram continues, even as some leaders from school debates to parliament publicly refuse to sing it, citing faith or conscience.
मेरे मज़हब में, मेरे रिलीजन में ये कहा गया है कि अल्लाह जिसने ज़मीन बनाई, आसमान बनाया, सूरज बनाए, चांद बनाए, इंसान बनाए, सारी दुनिया बनाए, हम उसके अलावा किसी के आगे सर नहीं झुका सकते। ये मेरे मज़हब में कहा गया है।
जिनको भारत का आज़ादी स्वीकार नहीं है, अखंडता स्वीकार नहीं है, वंदे मातरम स्वीकार नहीं है, उनको भारत में रहने का कोई अधिकार नहीं है।
Even if you openly do not want to sing, do not give a firm opposition. Rather, I would say to my Muslim friends, brothers and sisters, when a Vande Mataram is sung, you can stand up, you can just murmur, or you just have to keep quiet, but pay your quiet obeisance to the land. So rigidity in any religion and refusal to be a part of the ethos of the civilization is not going to help the community in the long run, and you will never be inclusive of a society. You can never include yourself in the part of the larger society. You will have to stay away from the larger religion and keep complaining about it.
150 years on, Vande Mataram's resonance still shakes stadiums, still inspires schoolyards, and it still motivates soldiers' camps. From Mahatma Gandhi's prayer gatherings, the Azad Hind Fauj of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, from Tagore's voice to Lata Mangeshkar's, Vande Mataram endures as a forever emotion for India. As Bharat marks 150 years of its national song, beyond all controversy, Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay's words remain proof that even in debate, unity can be found. The song that once freed us now inspires us to keep building, keep healing, and keep dreaming. Let's sing together one more time. Vande Mataram.
The New York City mayoral election is heating up, with Zohran Mamdani, the Democratic nominee, maintaining a strong lead. According to recent polls, Mamdani is ahead with 41 to 51% of the votes, followed by Andrew Cuomo, the independent candidate, with 26 to 34%, and Curtis Sliwa, the Republican candidate, with just about 11 to 24%. Mamdani's campaign has gained momentum with endorsements from progressive groups and a strong grassroots presence. The election is scheduled for 4th of November, and early voting is already underway with 480,000 ballots cast. Take a look on who has the edge.
As the city that defines America's spirit moves towards Election Day, New York stands at a political crossroad once more. This mayoral race is not just about who will lead, but about what New York and perhaps America itself is willing to become. A city carved by its diversity and relentless energy. Three contenders, Zohran Mamdani, Andrew Cuomo, and Curtis Sliwa, are vying to steer America's largest metropolis into an uncertain and defining new chapter. Zohran Mamdani, born to filmmaker Meera Nair and scholar Mohammad Mamdani, is unlike anyone in New York's political history. The 34-year-old Queens Assemblyman, a proud socialist and son of immigrants, is now a contender for City Hall. Hailed by some as symbol of change and dismissed by others as too radical.
Because of the difference, it's such a vast difference between the way President Trump does his agenda compared to what Mamdani wants to do for New York. They're very night and day as far as policy.
The suit, the tie, the boots. A man with perpetual glee on his face may have won the internet with his Gen Z tailored social media charm, but his crusade to make New York affordable has been questioned time and again, especially by Indians in city and beyond.
First of all, the progressive wing of the party is nothing new. There are several other far-left socialists that have similar talking points and agendas that are currently in power in Congress. So this is the first time that somebody in New York has reached such levels. He's currently leading former Governor Andrew Cuomo by 6 points in the race. So, he's really talking about a lot of points that would be detrimental not only to New York but to America and then to the foreign community as well.
From calling Prime Minister Modi a war criminal to once again dragging his name into the New York mayoral race, even inside places of worship, Mamdani has stirred anger and debate alike.
What Mamdani is doing is scaring away the upper middle class and the middle class of New York and making it an unsafe place. So we've tried progressive politics here in the United States. They have not worked, especially in major cities. San Francisco and Portland, Oregon are prime examples of that. Mamdani is talking about radical things, about taxing certain people on the color of their skin and defunding the police. That was one of his big slogans. He has also never ran anything. So he's never ran a company or he's never had a high power of office as well.
And the reason that I'm going to be running against Eric Adams is because the city has become far too unaffordable for anyone who calls it home. And I know that many in this Gurdwara are facing the same concerns about how they can afford their rent, or how they can afford their water bill, or their electricity charge, or their child care, any which way that they need to survive. And this mayor has taken every opportunity to make life more expensive, all while supporting Prime Minister Modi and an Indian government approach to violence for our community members. So thank you so much for having me here.
Let's take you back to 2023, when ahead of Prime Minister Modi's visit to the United States, Mamdani recited the words from the diary of Umar Khalid, who is still embroiled in 2020 Delhi riots case. And yet again, he took a swipe at Prime Minister Narendra Modi, this time at a Hindu temple right in the midst of the sacred Deepavali celebrations. The big question: why is the New York mayoral race capturing attention far beyond the city's borders? And what does it mean for the Indian community in New York? And why does Mamdani deem it fit to target India in his contest against Andrew Cuomo and Curtis Sliwa? With a large Indian community still finding adobe in New York, Mamdani's victory in his mayoral race could send ripples far beyond city politics. With the backing of a prominent Democratic leader like AOC and Mamdani's ongoing anti-India rhetoric, the immediate election results may seem minor, but what brews between Zohran and Democrats on American soil regarding India remains significant.
Zohran Mamdani is expected to take the helm of one of the most important cities in the world and the largest city in America. And he now has the full blessing of the Democrat leader in the House of Representatives. It is shocking. And that leader and all the other Democrats are going to co-own the consequences of what they do to America's largest city. Every reporter in this room should be asking every House Democrat individually whether they too agree with Hakim's endorsement of the Marxist agenda. It's an extraordinary moment in the history of American politics, as this is not the kind of history that we need to be making. What we're witnessing is truly the end of the Democratic Party as we've known it.
Joran Mamdani's potential rise is testament to the energy and diversity within our party. It's what makes Democrats the big tent we are. But yes, an election like this could highlighting the tension between the progressive wing of the party as well as the establishment or the corporate wing of the party or the centrist wing of the party. And what we have seen this before with figures like Bernie Sanders and AOC and Joe Biden and Obama supporters or Hillary supporters, it does not have to split us, but it definitely creates a big tension within the party. This does create some fractures within the party, and the only way we can get out of is to have more intra-party forum, that town hall and policy roundtables where progressives and centrists co-author bills and work together.
I think he's terrible. He's a communist. The last thing we need is a communist. I said there will never be socialism in the United States. Now we have a communist.
A campaign powered by Democrats under Trump-led America. What happens next in this election and beyond will define the direction of a nation once again at a crossroad.
It's such a vast difference between the way President Trump does his agenda compared to what Mamdani wants to do for New York. They're very night and day as far as policy.
As the country prepares for its next chapter, all eyes turn to what lies ahead. We are looking forward.
Well, that's all that we could pack in this edition of Looking Forward. Hope you enjoyed watching this show as much as we did putting it together. We'll be back next Sunday with another set of Looking Forward stories.